talking about digikits today. Hey there, it's Care. Welcome to my take at the lake. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. This turned into a really long video. So instead of torturing you with a really long video, I have cut it down to 3, maybe 4 different ones. So keep an eye out for the rest. Hopefully they'll all be nice and compartmentalized, but one never knows. Let's get to it. Let's talk about digikits. Because as a newbie junk journaler, I was mystified by them. At first I didn't understand what they were, and when I figured out what they were, I couldn't figure out what would be the point. And I just wanted to share some of my thoughts, because that's what she does, here at my Take at the Lake, on digikits for those of you who are new to it, or to the idea of digikits, or are new, or are sort of on the fence about digikits. What are they? Well, let me just show you. They're on Etsy, and you can get anything on Etsy. You can get t-shirts, you can get tote bags and house signs and license plates and yard art and anything you can get on Etsy, and a lot of it can be personalized, which is pretty cool. But also on Etsy are digikits, which is the topic of our conversation today. And I will just show you. I have 64 of most of the things in my cart that are saved are digikits. And these run the gamut as well. You can get almost anything in digital form. For example, I'm working on a World War II junk journal art treasure book for my uncle. It's going to be a surprise, so don't tell him. The bulk of it will be World War II and shipping. And so I've been looking for World War II ephemera online. And while there's some of it, it's not scanned very well, or what I have found just in general online hasn't helped. But on Etsy, there are things like these vintage postcards, which look more the part of what I'm trying to present in this book. Lots and lots of, this is from 1944, so the dates are right, the look is right. I'm not even sure if these are real or if these are created, and I don't care. They're gonna help me tell the story in my junk journal book that I'm making for him. I purchased this kit. It is World War I French POW printable letters, prisoner of war postcards and photos and ephemera. This is genuine stuff. Vintage 1910s. Again, beautiful, beautiful stuff that I don't have the means or wherewithal to get. That's one of the beauties of digikits, in that you can get things you might not normally have access to. These are so beautiful, by the way. And it comes, I think this is the one that comes with a letter. Might be a different kit. One of the kits I bought came with a letter explaining who the soldier was, whose letters they had scanned, which is really cool to have the background of this interesting ephemera. But for $2.36, I can add so much cool stuff to this project that I'm working on that otherwise I would not have access to. I don't know how much. I don't even know where I would buy World War I real letters. And if I did, I don't think I'd want to put them in the journal. I'd want to put them in a safe somewhere or give them to a museum. So for $2.36, a digital printable version of it is a beautiful way to share the piece without destroying it, without a lot of money output, and without preciousness of it, right? Similarly, a lot of us like to work with vintage photographs, vintage photos. These are not digital. Be very careful. We want digital. These are not digital. She's going to send you for $5, $2 shipping. That's how you know it's not a digital, because they're going to ship something to you. All right, I'm just going to go with a shameful self-promotion here and go back to my own store. Because I just recently posted these. Now, I didn't intend for this to happen, but in order to save time, this is what I'm talking about. So I bought a 1940s album, photo album, in one of my St. Vincent's halls, and there were several pictures left in it. And so I took them out and scanned them. Now, if you want vintage photographs of a nurse or old cars or beautiful old homes, $1.25, you can have this assortment of vintage photos. And the beauty, another beautiful thing about digital downloads, for that $1.23, you purchase these and you can print them over and over and over and over again. Now, you can also print them very small, depending on your printer settings. I am going to do a video on that shortly, so keep an eye out for that, on how to print these out and how to modify your digital kit. So if you want to make miniature books, you can. If you want to make larger projects, you can. You can also alter them on Canva pretty simply. So if I wanted these to all have a more, like a spookier, I can take this digital kit over to Canva and spatter it with blood. Or I could take it to my studio and spatter it with red alcohol ink. The blood spatter on Canva looks way more real. But you can alter digital kits too for your own use. And that will be in the next video on digital kits. But for $1.23, this is yours. You always have it. You don't have to store these 12 or 15 photographs anywhere because it's on your computer. Actually, you don't even have to store them on your device. You can store them. Etsy keeps them for you. I accessed these by going, I accessed that letter that I purchased digitally. It's here in my account. If I don't want to store that stuff on my computer, Etsy will store it for me, which is kind of awesome. So since we're doing shameful self-promotion, I'll just say I added a few more things recently, and I'm so excited about it. Because Sassy Girls Craft too, hello, I love this shirt. Oh my God. I'm going to get 10 of them and just wear them every day. Yes, I am. They're so much fun. I love that. Because, you know, we do. Sassy Girls Craft too. And if you're a fan of true crime and crafting, join us for the So Crafty It's Criminal tote bag weekender, waiting for mine to arrive. I am so jazzed about this bag. I can't even tell you. So much fun. Anyway, so you can get anything on Etsy. Back to the topic, shall we? Back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's go back to my cart. I have 64 items saved for later. Like I said earlier, most of them are digital products, not all. I want a whole bunch of stamps, but I want them dog stamps. Now, I could buy 6,000 packages of stamps from Etsy and maybe get 20 dog stamps, or I could go and get a collection of dog stamps from Etsy. Now, this takes up an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, so these stamps are pretty big. If I want them to look like stamps, well, then I'm going to have to scale them down when I print them so that they're the size of postage stamps. The cool thing is, I can. So I wanted to go through this list with you, a list of pros and cons. It's an easy way to fill a junk journal. More shameless self-promotion. In my own store, these items were created primarily because of the things I didn't have. First thing in my store was this filler pages. So many junk journalers have these awesome stamps, and they write journey on their books or journal or dream in their way cool rubber stamps. Well, I have none at the time. I had 0. And I didn't have any alphabet stamps, and I wasn't going to go buy all those things either. So I went to Canva and I made these filler pages. Now, these are, they're transparent, which means they can be printed on anything. Music paper, calendar pages, coffee dyed paper if your printer will take it. If your printer won't take it, I'll show you in the next video how to alter these so you can put them on any papers you want. And I'll show you what that looks like, because I just, here. Because after that, so I didn't have any fun papers. I didn't have a collection of way cool papers. And of course, this is a watermark. You won't see that. You'll just have Journey and Dream on your page. You won't have My Take at the Lakes watermark. The reason we have to put those there is because people will go on and take screenshots and print it and get the goods for free. It's only $2.34. Yet people will still steal it. So we have to put these goofy watermarks all over everything. But when you get your digital download, it will not look like that at all. They will be pretty. But what I did then was put all of those words onto fun papers, corrugated cardboard, wrinkled paper, because that works better in a journal than actual wrinkled paper. Craft, paper bag looking paper, graph paper, and just some grunge paper. Again, for my own use, because I didn't have any of the fun papers. And I'm a lazy junk journaler. I like to print stuff out, fold it in half, and put it in a cover. No trimming, no time wasted doing that. I can just fold them in half. I can, if you're savvy with your printer, you can print this double-sided, so both sides of your paper are have a design on them. I'm not that good with my printer. I'm pretty good, but the way I design these does not make it easy to print double-sided because some of the words come out upside down. If you don't mind that, if you don't mind sideways pages, which many people don't mind sideways pages in their journals, maybe you don't mind upside down pages. Print them upside down or print them double-sided. If something's upside down, you can just cover it with a cluster, right? Everything's fixable. So you can print them double-sided and get your both sides pretty. So my Etsy store came out of utility. Necessity is the mother of all invention, right? I figure if I didn't have any stamps, there's probably other people that don't have stamps that say whimsy and remember and whatnot. I will be changing these too pretty soon. Now that I'm better on Canva and I know my way around better, I will change up the font so that they'll maybe be like the typeface that's so popular right now, and vary those a little bit. Right now they're just this sort of hand-drawn calligraphy, which is also quite popular right now. Back to our little list. So it's easy way to fill. You can get that the random pages. I believe there's 32 pages in one of these kits. We'll go back to it for just a second. This one. There's 32 different, 24. One of them has 32 pages in it. Has 24 random papers, old and new. This is a little bit more on the grunge side, more modern than this one. But there's all different kinds. So if you don't happen to have music sheets or pink ledger paper, this one is done. This is a watercolor background I did myself. That's my watercolor, part of one of my watercolors. If you don't happen to have music sheets or like I said, pink ledger, I just thought that was a fun color. Same here. So there's all kinds of different papers in this. This would be fun for collage. Some script, some old ledger, some old handwriting. Just fun. Again, if you don't have any papers other than your plain Jane copy paper, well, for $3, you could have loads of pages. Print them back to back. I glue mine together because I like the heavier paper, the heavier feel. I think that's fun. There's something for everyone. Literally. Anything that you can imagine, you can find on Etsy. Was making my cousin's Walking Dead book, Bloody Horror. This was so fun. I didn't buy this one. I bought a different one, but this is in my cart to buy for another project I'm working on. How fun are these? Not into blood and horror? Well, let's type in something just goofy like purple, because I love purple, and horses. I should specify digital kits, because you see now I've got t-shirts and sweatshirts and art for my walls, and so purple horses digital paper. There we go. So horses came up, gorgeous horses, but look, here's purple horses. I'm not kidding you. Whatever you're looking for, you can find on Etsy. Now, say you're hell-bent for leather because you want purple horses. Well, here's one that's all kinds of pink and burgundy. I'm going to show you in the next video how to take something like this to Canva and put a filter over it. It's not technically a filter, but that's how it works. And purplize every page in this kit, and it'll be a purple horse kit if that's what you want. So even if you can't find exactly what you're looking for, you'll find really close and you can make it that way. Canva is a beautiful thing, as is Etsy. Again, when it says search for anything, they are not kidding. Let's do another goofy something or other. Sassy snowman. Digital. Well, maybe not. See, there's something I might have to build. I might have to build a sassy snowman kit. Here's a sassy snowman. Sorta. Crap! I shouldn't have had that fourth cookie. I just popped a button. That's funny. This year I'm spending the holidays in the Bahamas. It's on my bucket list. Oh dear, my DNA test just came back. Turns out I am 85% water, 5% dirt, and 10% dog pee. This happened. See, these are fun. It's not quite as sassy as I would go, but I just searched for sassy. The reason snowman, there's a snowman picture right next to me, so that came to my head. I'm a sassy girl, so sassy snowman, and there you go, sassy snowman. You can find anything on Etsy. Most of it's digitized for our junk journal use. So There is something for everyone. That is no joke. These things are a screaming good deal. Most of these, $3.75. This is one of the higher priced ones, but as you'll notice, she doesn't have any competition. There wasn't many. When I searched for Sassy Snowmen, not many came up. So she doesn't have a lot of competition. So if you want a Sassy Snowman, $3.75 is still not a bank breaker. But look at some of these other prices. $1.52 for all of these ephemera, snowman ephemera. $1.50 for all of this cool snowman stuff. It's a screaming good deal. And again, once you spend that $1.50 or that $1.52 or even that $3.75, you can print it over and over and over. It's yours forever. This is an interesting thing I find of people who use digikits. I hear them say, "Oh, I already used that digikit," or they'll use it for one thing and never use it again. I don't understand that. There's so many more ways to use it, so you get it for its original use. And there's always beautiful scraps left over, so that's fun. I'm sure they make collages and with it eventually. But there's so many. So let's say we'll go back to the Sassy Snowmen and we'll put this in our Sassy Christmas book. These tags, they don't have to be sassy. You can use these over and over and over again. That beautiful green and red, they're not like traditional green and red, so if you covered up the holly, this could be any kind of tag. This could be a springtime tag, a summer tag, a St. Patty's Day tag, cover up the pink ones, and it could be anything in that shabby chic rosy color. It could go with that rosy horse journal we just looked at. Put a horse over the holly and there you go. There's so many ways you can use one kit. There's just no reason to give up on it once you use it one time. Going back to these, like there's 1,000,001 uses for this. I'm doing a video on my stuff to show you how to use my own things, how I intended it to be used. Clusters and pages and mini books and bookmarks and collages, and these things, Collage is already started for you. If you want to do a master board, the base is already down for you. Then you just have to add another layer or two and you're off to the races. It's a jump start. The more I use my digital kits, the more uses I find for my digital kits. Not mine personally. The ones I've purchased, I go to over and over and over again. Those vintage photographs, they could be used in all kinds of different things. A black and white journal, or a family journal, or a vintage journal. My friend is doing a vintage car journal, so there's that. Vintage travel, sister's journal. All kinds of ways. You don't have to purchase it once and never look at it again. That doesn't make any sense to me. Can be used in a myriad of ways. I corrected that. Apparently I didn't download the correction. They can be sized and altered. Again, that's a video coming up. Fabulous for collage. Oh my goodness. There's so many cool things out there. And then once you have them, pull together all your digital kits if you've ever purchased. Print a page or two out of each one and collage your little heart out, because you're going to come up with some crazy cool combinations that you might not have ever thought of before. One of the things I love about digital kits is how incredibly inspirational they are. When I go looking for something like purple horses or sassy snowmen, I come up with, Etsy shows me a truckload of other things. Look how beautiful this is. This would be perfect. I'm doing a vintage Christmas altered 3-in-1 book. This would be perfect for it. So I should heart it so this will put it on a list for me so I can find it later. Look at this one with the critters in it. So cute. Retro Christmas papers. These are awesome too, because a lot of times they're a paper. It's a paper with just a little bit of design, so that you have room to journal or add your own pictures or add your own ephemera. This is fantastic. This reminds me so much of Christmases with my grandma. I'll probably get that one for my Christmas book. So it's incredibly inspirational. There's so many ideas. Every time I go on Etsy, I add 10 more ideas to the list of journals I want to make or books I want to do. And that's one of the cons of digikits, is that they are highly addictive. Once you start, there's really no going back. I only know of Natasha at Treasure Books, who just won't do digital kits. She does fine without them. She doesn't see the need for them, and I totally agree with her on that. There's no need for any of this. There's so many cool images out there, and there's so much free stuff to work with. There's really no point. And that was one of the reasons I really didn't like them when I first started junk journaling, because the whole idea of junk journaling is you get to use what's around you. Well, that's true to a point, but eventually, especially if you watch a lot of junk journal videos, there's so many more cool things other than the stuff that comes in your house or that you find at St. Vinny's. There's so many cool things like tags and tucks and corners, and that, like with any hobby, you want more and more and more toys in your toy box. And so it's a slippery slope. Once you buy your first one, and Etsy makes it so easy to buy, so easy to buy. That's another video too. I'm gonna buy a kit online, and I'm gonna show you how to print it, because that seems to be a big question. So stay tuned for that. They make it so easy, and again, they store it all for you, so you don't have to clog up your device. If you have an older computer, you don't have to have all these digital kits on your computer. Etsy will store them for you. They're right there in your purchases tab. They're a screaming good deal. Most of them are. The most expensive kit I've seen has been about $10. And it, like the snowman, it didn't have a lot of competition. So if it was a very specific niche thing. But most of them are under $5. The majority I have seen are under $3 or $4. For that kind of screaming good deal, for the amount of work that goes into these kits. My kits are easy to make. I don't spend a lot of time. I don't have Photoshop. Everything I make is on Canva. Some of the more, like my porch prints, holy Hannah, the work that goes into those kits and her papers, the layers and every single little detail you see, the graphics, the grunge, the distressing, the different fonts, the images, it's all a different layer, and they all have to be sized, and it takes an extraordinary amount of time, attention to detail. There's a lot of work that goes into these kits, and so to get it for $3 or $4 again is a screaming good deal. So easy to buy. The cons, they can easily become a crutch. Instead of being creative with your papers and what you already have, it's so easy to just buy a kit and make the book, which is one of the things I really didn't like about it when I first understood what they were. Was like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just create your own? Well, because they're so cool. And sometimes you can't create. You can never create the same things that they're making. And it's so much fun to work with the other things. But they can easily become a crutch, and that's all you use. I've seen YouTubers who only use kits. They buy a kit and they make a book. And to me, that's, I don't know, it's just not as much fun. I like the mix of buying a kit and making it my own, buying a kit and working it into a project that I've designed. And the cons is that it sparks so many ideas. I already have so many projects going and on the to-do list and on the wish list and on the bucket list that I want to do. Every time I look at a digikit, 1,000 more ideas come into my head, so I find that a problem. Anyway, we are at our 30-minute mark. That's my love-hate of digikits. What is a digikit? It's a kit that's been digitized for your printing and junk journaling pleasure. That's what a digital digikit is. And a lot of YouTubers will talk about digikit as if we all know what they're talking about. Well, now you know what they're talking about too. I didn't like them at first. Once I understood what they were, I still didn't really like them, but once I started using them, really like them. And they came in quite handy, utilitarian. If you don't have stamps, if you don't have photography, if you don't have access to ledgers from the 1800s and postcards from World War II, well, you can find them on Etsy. If you don't have 1,000 pictures of vintage cars, but you're making a vintage car journal, a digital kit might be the way to go. It'll certainly boost what you're looking to do. It'll certainly help you along the way. There are pros and cons, as there are with anything. So I encourage you to at least go on Etsy and look up some of your projects. It'll certainly give you some new ideas on your own projects, which always help. The more ideas, the better, to a point. Then I feel like my head's going to explode. So you got to kind of be careful. Anyway, that is my take for today. You have a lovely, lovely crafty day. More soon on digital kits, how to print them, how to scale them, how to alter them, and then how to play with them. Take care. I take it the lake. Out for now.